moved on to the deck here. So, some of the more observant viewers will notice something's different about the shop now. First part of the video, my lift table wasn't in here. I have to admit, this segment of video is 7 months, 6 or 7 months after the last segment you just watched. It's been crazy busy. So, the old girl's been sitting out in the yard, and I just haven't had time to get to this. So, we're going to strip it down. We're going to clean it, paint it. We're going to go over all the bearings. These actually have grease fittings in there. This being a Cub Cadet, I believe this is going to have conical or tapered roller bearings in it. Possible. I don't know yet. I haven't got anything apart. I can tell you the deck is extremely heavy. It's got to be, it feels twice as heavy as any other deck. It's twice as heavy as a cheap MTD deck, that's for sure. This thing is pretty stout. So, it's 2-blade 38-inch. Yeah. I'll set you guys up on the other side of the shop, get you a nice vantage point, and I'll just do a fast forward rip and tear. We'll get everything stripped down, quick observation, and carry on with the video. You guys okay up there? You're way up, like the top of my hand is reaching as high as I can, and that's where the camera is. That's going to give you the best vantage point. I'm glad I found this little spot on the bench. It gets a nice view of the deck. The only thing I really don't like about this camera, it's actually, the field of view is very narrow on it. It's a decent camera, but I may need to look into something else later. Okay, what do we got? We got nuts and bolts. Big surprise on this Cub Cadet. Everything's nuts and bolts. We're going to pull our scallop wheels off, because we're going to scuff it all down. We're going to prime it, paint it. Still got crud built up in it. It is an extremely thick deck. I'm not sure what the gauge is, but it is very, very thick. So, I'm going to start stripping it down, guys. We're going to fast forward it because it's just nuts and bolts. Nothing's really interesting. And you probably don't want to hear me just ramble on anyways. These spindles are perfect. They're silent, they spin nice, there's no growling. I'm not going to touch them other than grease them. These are what I thought they were. These are conical bearings inside here. It's not like a press bearing you've seen in previous videos. These are more like a trailer hub or a rotor off an older rear-wheel drive vehicle where there's a tapered bearing that sits in a cone and they get pressed in. But yeah, so these actually are adjustable. There's a preload. You would set the preload, and then it's got a locking nut that jams it down so it doesn't get loose and doesn't go tighter. Nice. Okay, so this goopy crap in here is definitely a problem, because that will rot out your deck. And it's not as if you can just pop online and order a new deck for this old tractor. So it's very important that everything gets cleaned out from here. This is already turning to compost, and that will take a deck out in record time. Okay. A little noisy. That one's fine. Not crazy bad. It's probably fine. It is a new pulley. Somebody's put one on. But a lot of these old Cub Cadet parts interchange to new MTD numbers, and they're still available. Alright, back to the fast forward, and we'll keep ripping and shredding here. there we go. Deck is actually in really nice shape. Had some hardened dirt under there, but it was like mud, like it was dirty dirt. But yeah, it come out nice. There's surface rust everywhere, but nothing is deep. No holes rotted through anywhere. I was debating taking the spindles out so I could paint in there. I don't know. I might want to take the spindles out just to clean that crap out from underneath them. Blades look good. Nice big heavy blades. So they're nuts and bolts on these spindles. I can't believe how nice they are. A bit of a story about this machine. I bought it basically not running. I found it in a classified ad, and the ad said something to the effect of Cub Cadet lawn tractor won't run, or just doesn't run. Oh, I talked to the guy on the phone, and I went and looked at it and said, like, what's the story? Was it running, like, did it work okay last year? He goes, yeah, I used it all last year, and then I tried to start it this year, and it won't start, so I'm just selling it. So that's basically the story I got. Not the case. I don't know whether he knew or didn't know or tried to rip me off, but anyways, I get the machine home, and all it was is a fuse. Like, wasn't a blown fuse. If it was a blown fuse, I can believe that. The fuse was actually missing. So the main fuse was out of the tractor when I bought it. I brought it home, put a fuse in it, fired right up. Ran beautiful, actually. Fired up nice. But it wouldn't move. So that's led me into the transaxle. So I can't say for sure, but I think what happened was the transaxle stripped, and he tried to sell it, get what he could for it, and even though he knew the transaxle was stripped. Again, this is all hearsay, and it's speculation, but it's quite possible. Anyways, I don't know. What should I do? Hold them spindles? I better get that junk out of there. I gotta get the junk out. It's so wet and sloppy. Actually, that's grease. A real sticky, thick mess that's in there is actually grease. Somebody over-greased the spindles. I know what I'm doing. I'll take it outside and pressure wash it. I'm not going to pull the spindles out. I will fire up the pressure washer, and I will pressure wash all underneath here, make sure the rest of that comes out. I'll flip it over, and I will pressure wash underneath around the spindles, avoiding the bearings, avoiding the seals, because you don't want to inject water into that stuff. I think that's the best bet for this one. Alright, so here we go. We got our buffed down, sanded down, hit with high solids primer, dried, resanded. Now it's time to squirt some on there. So what we've got here is some Krylon. This is about the closest match I could find. Can't even read it. Hang on, let me get this. Oh, jeez, there we go. Can you read it? Old equipment, yellow. It's not quite 100% match, but it is close enough. Close enough. So we've got a brace over here. That's just a lift brace for the front. You don't really see it. I didn't bother priming it. Actually, it was an afterthought before I just found it sitting on the side of the shop here. Like I said, the beginning of a recent segment. It's been 7 months since I've had anything to do with this machine, so let's get some color on it. We're gonna F this one, fast forward, and hopefully it turns out okay. Yeah. I started here, went to here, went to here. When I started painting here, the nozzle stuck down. It wouldn't release. So I did all of that painting and emptied the can in one shot. It's the only can I have of this color, so I didn't want to stop. It is what it is. Yeah. We'll see how that works. It looks a little more yellow than the lid. It's going to be hard. With video it's extremely hard, but let's see if we can get you. How are we going to do that? Zoom in here. So the lid appears a little darker than what it's painted, but we'll see what happens. Oh, I can barely reach you guys way up there. We'll let her dry. It might dry darker. Hope for the best. Alright, let's do some assembly. I've these 6203 bearings that are in this pulley, I pulled the seals out, put fresh grease in them, but we'll fast forward through the rest of this too. It's just nuts and bolts, boring. Don't need to see me working away and rambling as I go. I'm going to work on this piece here. This is a shouldered spacer that goes through there. Well, that shoulder there is supposed to go far enough through this bracket that the shoulder sits on the deck and allows this to pivot freely, but for some reason it's actually not sticking through far enough. So, yeah, might just take a little bit off the back side of this. Hold tight. Alright, so I've got that figured out. I just thinned out that bracket a little bit, gooped it up with anti-seize, got it clearanced. I'm going to get it snugged up here, check it for tension. There, perfect. That doesn't even wobble side to side like it used to. Okay, well, I gotta rivet that plate on. I don't know where my rivet gun is. Just do a quick catch up here. Now that I'm talking, I replaced this pulley because the other one was, the bearings were a little noisy, and I had this one in stock. At one point there, I had to adjust with another washer to make sure that the belt was riding in the middle of the pulley. It is working perfect now. A couple of shots of grease in the bearings. This belt is in perfect condition, so we're going to reuse it. Everything is rolling nice. I did grease these bearings. Chutes on, anti-scallop wheels are on, the front roller is on. What's left underneath is just to fire the blades back on. Oh, I'm going to sharpen and balance them, and then I'll fire the blades back on. But I got to go find my rivet gun. It's in the house somewhere. It's time to refill my coffee anyways. Got it. Now let's see if I got rivets in here that'll do that. They're little tiny ones. Not holding on a piece of equipment, it's just holding on a little nameplate. No, countersunk ones, don't want them. Button heads. Maybe. I could put tap screws in there, but I'd rather use rivets. Because rivets aren't going to hold a bunch of grass. I think we got her. Pop rivets. All right. Okay. I do have a new belt that goes from here to the PTO. That should be just fine. The drive belt is in good shape on the tractor. I actually don't remember if it's new or not. I don't remember. It's been too long. But I'm just going to lift it up. After I get the blade sharpened and balanced, I'm going to lift it up, slam those blades on there, and then we'll get it hung under the tractor, and maybe we can get some video of me driving it around the backyard. Been a while. I'm going to have to put a battery in it. Well, there we have it, guys. I got the deck on there. The color match isn't perfect. It's hard to see on camera. Monitors and cameras are a little bit different, but this is more a little John Deere yellow, and that's a little more cat yellow, and it's a slight difference, but it doesn't matter. I'm happy with it. Turned out well. I got all the belts on. I got the deck hung. It's working. I tested the blades. Everything seems to be good. It's going to be a nice unit. Give it a little bit of an overhaul here. Yeah, nice unit. Works pretty good. Kohler runs nice. Hydrostatic works great now. It is the fall. I'm not going to sell this one this year, but it'll be ready for next year. Yeah. Battery's still a little iffy. I'm going to have to put a new one in it. Yeah, thanks for joining me on this video, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you do subscribe, click that bell icon. It will notify you when I upload new videos. Lots of work to do this winter. I want all these machines ready for spring in the big rush. Till the next video, guys, take care. Thanks again.